In today's Sligo Show Short, we have John, the Map, Callanan, back in again. John, you're very welcome back to the Sligo studio.
Thanks, Brendan.
Before we get into it, if you are watching this, wherever you're watching it, if you'd like, share, subscribe on all our channels, it would really help us grow our voluntary project here at the Sligo Show. John, so is it this weekend is a big moment for you with the sligomusicians.com website that you run?
Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday's the 10th anniversary, you might say. Well,
right, okay.
I started it on the 15th of December 2014, and now it's going to be the 15th of December 2024. So, yeah, 10 years.
And like for anyone that, I mean, for the few people that may not know, like I have told this website to hundreds and hundreds of people over the years. It is literally a one-page snapshot of all the gigs in Sligo town and county and any Sligo musician that's playing outside
Anywhere
of the county,
on the planet,
anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And you do this all for free.
Of course.
Which I never failed to understand how amazing that is. And like, I think from everyone in Sligo, fair play. You are that go-to guide in many bars.
It makes me interruptible, you see.
Oh, okay.
So, you start giving me money, I'll get ideas.
Well, if anyone gives you money, we will look after it here for you. There's no problem.
Right.
We have that facility here. John, so what made you start it?
Well, back in 2013, or it might have been 2012, I started making a database of Sligo musicians, which turned into a massive project because I wasn't just making a database. I was going to put it onto a website and animate every single musician. In the end, I animated about 480 musicians, but it was a bit of a cop-out because what I was doing, basically, I was animating one musician and then just changing the head.
Shh, don't be telling the secrets. Don't be letting them in the trade secrets. Okay.
The problem was I was doing it in a program called Flash, and Flash was basically outlawed by Steve Jobs and Microsoft. They basically, it was taken off about 2 years ago. I've still got a dodgy copy though.
We're revealing way too many secrets. John will be taken out of the town next week.
But so I was doing the database, and part of it was I was going to do a gig guide. And then unfortunately I had a heart attack and fell over in a big heap. And then a couple of weeks later, Brian McDonough suggested instead of doing the database, I could just do the gig guide and put it up.
Now, it wasn't the database that made you have the heart attack, I hope. It might have been the amount of work you just described. Like,
well, it was an awful lot of work. So I interviewed about 600 musicians, and I was only scratching the surface really, because there must be 2,000 or 3,000 musicians in Sligo minimum.
Wow,
if not more. And there's a whole new generation coming along.
Yeah,
and
it's ever evolving. Like,
there's a Sligo Academy of Music, and there's all sorts of projects running. And then you've got Kieran Quinn, and you've got the Sligo show, for God's sake. But so Brian McDonough actually suggested I do it. So I put it online. He claims 10% of everything I make.
You earn, but you don't make anything. If you could make something.
He's worth 10% of nothing.
I'm always at pains to make sure people understand and respect what you do. Like, on average, in a week, how many hours do you think you put in?
Oh, it depends on the week. The weeks before Christmas, it's quite a lot. I'd be doing about 20 hours a week at it. But during the summer, it'd be about 5 hours a week because I update almost every day.
Yeah,
and if there's a festival on, I might be updating 3 or 4 times a day.
It's like you're just constantly having to chase out the venues and musicians, and they always get back to you straight away, John, do they?
Oh yeah, of course.
Insert sarcasm. So if any musicians or venues are out there, John is trying to help you promote this amazing resource we have in the town. So make sure you support
initially
him.
when I started, a lot of places actually rang me up and said we don't want on your website and this sort of thing. It's quite
mad.
odd.
Whatever thinking, but now they're all on it. More or less.
I think so. Yeah.
We won't start naming names. But it's how many gigs on average in Sligo? Like, between 12 months a year and average week.
In the summer, during the festival, there might be 140 live gigs, 150.
In the county?
In the county, and the town.
Yeah.
The town might have about 120 and the county might have another 20 or 30.
Well, I mean, we probably can't ever figure this out, but we must have the highest number of music gigs
by far.
in any town. Bigger than Dublin, Galway, I'd say.
Well, I went to, because a lot of people used to turn up in the pub, especially Shoot the Crows or Furious, and they'd say, we're in Sligo for the night, but we're going to Donegal tomorrow. And they said, we'll spend the week in Donegal. I said, why are you going to Donegal? I said, the music. I go, where?
Yeah.
So I was up in Letterkenny last year, and I was told there's loads of music in Letterkenny. I found 1 gig a fortnight in Letterkenny. That's it. In the cottage, nothing else. Gigs advertised, but not on.
Oh, okay. So just old dated posters.
Out-of-date posters.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a John the Map.
Exactly. And funnily you say that, my cousin, Angela, who's a doctor in Letterkenny, she went to some public meeting and someone actually stood up and said, why doesn't Letterkenny have its own John the Map?
Well, in fairness, no. I can understand why most towns, because no one would do what you do for free. So, it's sensational what you do. But you love music, obviously. You're a fan. You keep going to pubs and gigs.
It's part of the reason I'm in Ireland. It's just the quality of life here is superb,
Yeah.
And there's so much talent. And the whole thing is with Sligo, you have to be pretty good to play in Sligo.
Yeah.
If you're not, they let you know pretty quickly.
They put manners on.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Well, the big trick is apparently what they do is if someone turns up and they're absolutely rank, what they do is they take it in turns to go to the toilet. When they come back, they sit at a different table.
They slowly move away.
After half an hour,
and we're learning all the trade secrets.
The guy with the barrels left in the corner on his own.
Just whatever pops into your head now. The top 3 gigs you were ever at in Sligo.
Top 3 gigs.
Yeah,
it's strange you should say that. The top gig I think I was ever at was probably in Furies one night, and it was Tabby was playing with Shamey O'Dowd.
Oh yes,
and it was kind of a mixed up band. It was kind of rock and roll, and this funny thing happened at one stage. Shamey stepped in behind Tabby and actually started playing the guitar that Tabby was playing at the same time.
Okay, wrapped his hands around and playing.
Yeah, and so he was playing the top strings and Tabby was playing the low strings. But that was the big point. He did that so that Tabby could then slip away and go to the loo. but they were playing long, and then the Kellys turned up.
Oh,
with
ball of energy.
With Paddy Hazelton,
yeah,
and Ted and Joss, and the Kellys. There's like 10 of them. Well, actually, there's not. But anyway,
no, I know. But there's a good collection.
And then into the middle of it, Kieran Quinn turned up, and a bunch of trad players turned up. So in the end, there was about 25, 30 musicians all playing, and they were just playing all sorts of mixtures of jazz and rock and Afro beats and trad, and it was all getting mixed in together.
We didn't record that somewhere. That sounds amazing.
About it, yeah.
But it's all up here, so that's.
But the best gig, the third best gig I ever saw in Sligo was recorded, but then the recording was lost, and it was actually in Shoot the Crows. The Celtic Tenors turned up and played with Rick Epping and.
Is that the Wednesday night crew? Is it?
No, that's no Crows. This would have been the Tuesday night crew, which is almost Dervish, but not quite, but with Rick Epping. So the Celtic Tenors turned up because they were in town recording with Dervish. They did some gigs with them. And the whole pub did Ness and Dormer. And the Celtic Tenors, you know, your man Nelson, who's from Sligo.
James
Nelson, yeah. So they taught us how to do the la 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 la. So the whole pub did that part or whatever. And at the end, they all just went, whoop, their mouths came out and they just did the whole Latin bit or the Italian bit at the end. So anyway, that was brilliant. But the best gig apart from that, Steve Wickham doing the Waterboys hit. What's it called? I keep calling it Fisherman's Blues. I'll call it Fisherman's Friend sometimes.
Yeah, well, we know what you're on about.
Easy to take,
yeah.
So apparently Steve's got a part writing credit for it with Mike Scott. And one night, Shamey O'Dowd was playing with Kieran Quinn on the Monday night gig, and Steve was playing with them as a guest. And I asked, could you do Fisherman's Blues? So Steve said, okay. So they started playing it, and like after just a few chords, Steve said, no, it's not like that. It's more like this. So they started again. No, not like that. They started it 3 times and couldn't get it right. And in the end, what it was, you see, is that Steve sings it as a song of longing, a longing for something you probably never achieve. You're never going to be the fisherman.
Yeah.
You're never going to hold this person in your arms. Oh, that's the way it sounds to me. Whereas Mike Scott sings it as a song of triumph. I am the fisherman. I am holding you in my arms.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo, you know? There's none of that. Steve sings it very mournfully almost.
Okay.
And very slowly. And by the time it was over, I mean, it was a packed pub. You could hear a pin drop. And people didn't know whether to clap or cry. It was like
just a magic moment.
Magical moment.
That you can't plan.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Or know what's going to happen.
No.
Very good. So, John.
But there have been umpteen gigs that have been brilliant. But those
I know. It's impossible to pick.
Yeah,
I mean, the Fla was crazy. Like, there was so many brilliant nights.
I saw Martin Tourish with No Crows about 6 weeks ago. It was unbelievable. And during the middle of it, some players from the Sligo Baroque Orchestra passing by popped in with their fiddles, and they did a Vivaldi concerto where Martin Tourish on the piano accordion, played the harpsichord part. And it was brilliant.
So that is the magic of Sligo's music scene.
Precisely, yeah.
And you never know. Just go out in the town. There's always a gig, even if it's a quieter night. The town might be wedged in the streets. There's always magic gigs.
Yeah. Well, it's strange you say that. Years back, I was No Crows were doing a gig in Galway, and they asked me to do the door, so I did. And when we were leaving, maybe about 1 a.m, we were driving through Galway, and there's people milling around the main street and all the rest of it. And Steve said, I wish Sligo was like this. I said, well, it is, Steve. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, this is what it's like late at night. At the weekend, everybody's leaving the pubs and going off to the chippers. And he said, I've never seen that. So we drove back, and we arrived back in Sligo about 2:30. And it was exactly like that. It was all these people sort of milling round, going off to the chipper. I said the reason Sligo is often very empty is because every pub is rammed to gills with people listening to great music.
Listen to music. So they're not like going, we'll go somewhere else. So they're not moving.
They'd be hanging around. They hang around the street of Galway because there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
You go to Sligo, all the pubs are rammed.
I know, and the theatres and the plays and everything. So it's endless. It's endless. Well, John, I don't know, do I say congrats or thanks? Probably both for what you've done. It's sligomusicians.com.
That's right.
10 years of volunteering.
Yeah.
And promoting what we do brilliantly in this town and county. So fair play to you. When you told me last week you've 10 years, and I just said, will you come on and let's just mark the moment. And any venues out there or anyone that wants to buy John a pint or a coffee or whatever, go and you see him. What you do, I'm endlessly amazed at what you do. So thank you.
I am going to start asking for donations in future.
Good, dead right.
So I actually decided years ago when I started this that I'd do it free for 10 years and see how it went. And it cost me about €400 a year to run because I've got to pay for domain names and space and also telephone calls and texts and all the rest of it. Yeah. So I'll give my own time for free, but it would be nice to be recompensed, I think the word is.
For that. And you always reinvest anything like that into something cool. So I've no doubt you'll have more.
I'm thinking running a little one-day trad festival in Sligo, probably mid-February.
Okay.
But not to coincide with the much mooted comedy festival.
That comedy festival. Oh, I hear it's good now. I wouldn't trust the guy running it there.
No. Why would you?
John, thank you for coming in again. Thanks. And by the way, anyone watching, if you've not seen John's actual full-on interview and your story we did, one of the very, very first episodes, if not the first.
Was the first, yeah.
Live as well. It was great fun. That is still one of my favourite interviews I've ever done. It was live, yeah. Do you not remember the phone going off and we were like, we can't stop? So it was just very funny. Oh, yeah. But John, you have one of the most fascinating stories I've ever heard. So anyone watching this, go and look up John Callanan, Sligo Show, and you'll see your full interview. We'll definitely have you on again to have a longer chat.
Okay.
And if you're doing that thing with the Trad Festival, we will be here to go, let's push it, let's plug it, let's tell the world. So, John.
It's just be one day though.
Yeah, that'll be enough to start.
Okay.
Build it and they will come. John, have a great Christmas. Thank you very much for calling in.
Brendan, most appreciated. Thanks so much. Happy Christmas to you as well.
Cheers. That was John the Map, as we call him in Sligo, John the Map Callanan from sligomusicians.com. If you've never heard of it, go and visit it. If you work in a shop, you work in a hotel, you work in a bar, you need to tell all the visitors about that website. It is unbelievable, the endless list of gigs we have here in town. Thanks again to Brian behind the cameras doing all the magic. Thanks to the ATU Innovation Centre for the space. Big shout to our sponsors, Pet Stop Discount Warehouse. Go and check out all their stores, loads of them across the west of Ireland. And finally, thanks to EJs who kitted me out with their $2.99 deal. We'll see you all again next time.
The Sligo Show is produced by Pixel Productions and hosted by Brendan Tierney. If you need video for your business or live event or would like to appear on the show, send us a message today.
This show is in partnership with ATU Sligo Innovation Centre, the hub of innovation and commercial enterprise for startups, industry, and academia.
If you like what you just watched, we would love if you could please like, share, subscribe, depending on the channel you're watching on. It will just really help us grow our voluntary project here at the Sligo Show. So thanks for watching and thanks in advance for sharing.